How
Well,
come
maybe
when
just to
they
get you
do
started.
interviews with you, they tell you never to look into the lens?
Well, it depends who's doing the interview.
They always tell me that. I always want to.
An astounding artist from the Bahamas who blends performance and fine art. She creates and sculpts her ideas with her hands, feet, hair, and anything else that is considered a part of her being. She looks for new and innovative ways to get who she is as an artist across, even if it is mind-numbing crazy or so provocative that it makes your head bend sideways, your toes curl, and your mind goes silent because it can't seem to be quick enough. Born on January 19th, 1964 in Freeport, Bahamas, she grew up there in a loving family before going to school at Sarah Lawrence College, where she received a Bachelor's of Art in 1986, then furthering her study at Rhode Island School of Design, receiving her Master's in Fine Art in 1989. In 1998, she received the MacArthur Fellowship and the Joan Mitchell Foundation Incorporated Painting and Sculpture Grant, with the Larry Aldrich Foundation Award later in 1999. Her mixture of performing art and fine art has led to so many interesting pieces. However, not all of them are physical performances. Like in much of her work, she makes the viewers work their brains to understand the types of symbolism that is trapped within each piece. The three that I chose for this project were Gnaw, Mom and Dad, and Touch. I also threw in Lick and Lather. Each one has a different characteristic to itself, but all have the same physical essence that link them to the artist that gave them life. Knot is simple to understand and yet complex. Within this piece of work, there were multiple levels to try and comprehend as a whole. 600 pounds of chocolate, nod. 600 pounds of lard, nod. 130 items of lipstick made from pigment, beeswax, and chewed lard removed from the lard cube. Not to mention the 27 heart-shaped packages made from the chewed chocolate removed from the chocolate cube. Antoni herself would try to dismiss the artwork as though she was just trying to carve. However, the piece itself brings to light the idea of the artist becoming intimate and one with their work deeper and more perplexed. It brings the artist and the viewer closer as bits and pieces of the artist are embedded in the art, while the viewers themselves emphasizing with the artist having to go through and munch on the item at hand. Mom and Dad was more of a personal and inward movement within Antoni. She mentioned that the reason for her manipulating such a classic photo of her parents was more to her own thoughts. She saw her parents as a unit or one body instead of two people. It was in her way of reflecting on where she had come from and if the gender roles set within her family played a portion onto how she was raised and is today. Perplexing it may be to her, it was comical to the viewers. She used manipulating software to take her parents and switch how they looked. Her mother became her father, and her father became her mother. Touch in many ways has a soothing appeal to it. To do this, Antoni began practicing tight-roping so she could balance on the rope stretched across the horizon of where she lived as a little girl. Touch almost brings back an individual to their childlike wonders and fascination while they watch her perform. To be able to touch the horizon and be able to walk along it is mesmerizing and in some cases magical.
I practiced tightroping for about an hour a day, and after about a week, I started to feel like I'm now getting my balance. I started to notice that it wasn't that I was getting more balanced, but that I was getting more comfortable with being out of balance. Rather than getting nervous and overcompensating, I could just compensate enough, and I thought, I wish I could do that in my life. After going down many different avenues, I decided to make this work touch. And what I did is I went home to the Bahamas, to the beach that was directly in front of the house that I grew up in. It made sense for me to go back to this horizon I had looked at my whole life. I thought it would have much more tension if I could walk along the rope and as it dipped, that just for a moment I would touch the horizon.
Lick and Lather was one of her first pieces to be displayed while a student. These pieces were made in the liking of her out of both chocolate and soap. Over a period of time, she distorted them by either licking the feature off, the chocolate, or by bathing with it, the soap. There are 14 of the busts in total, and each bust is in a different stage of wear and tear. With each figure, however, the viewer can see more of a progression as they were worked. In some cases, the forethought behind such a piece shows the degrading factors of our own individuality lost, or in some instances, how we break ourselves down to the core to find something just to build ourselves forward and more defined.
Both the licking and the bathing are quite gentle and loving acts, but I'm slowly erasing myself. For me, it's about that conflict, that kind of love-hate relationship we have with our physical appearance, and really like the problem I have of looking in the mirror and thinking, is that who I am?
Her methods are simple, and yet with everything she does, it's bold and draws your attention. Because she uses her body in a lot of her work, she can transform the simplistic ideas into strong and interesting forms. After seeing her work, people would think twice about a large block of chocolate, or the horizon, or even rope. Because their attention is drawn to it, they will remember her artwork every time they see it. In some instances, it is her way of getting the message, look and pay attention to the things around you, no matter how petty or outrageous they are to the viewer. The themes in her work are more geared towards the feelings and emotions that a person goes through. They are complex in many areas and makes a person think. With this in mind, the physical portion of her themes are more to entice the imagination as she tumbles and falls, or make motions that specifically help with what she has in mind. From family to brainwaves, her themes travel within each other to form herself. Both the public and the art world see her as though her art is embellished in almost a fairy tale-like state. The rebelliousness that she shows in her artwork reflects on her own ideas and imagination, and how she refuses to fit into the perfect little box called society. With doing so, it is either a love or a hate when it comes to her artwork. Much of the time, people are awe-stricken by what they see.
I'm a troublemaker, never been a faker, doing things my own way and never giving up. I'm a troublemaker, not a double taker. I don't have the patience to keep it on the up.
All right. Excellent.
Did you get it?
I didn't get the kiss, but we can take a still. I almost.
Because it may never happen again.
That was great.